Okay, last time we have discussed the simplex algorithm, and in simplex algorithm we have dealt with the bigam method, and generally I have told the when we can use this bigam method, and generally this bigam method is used when the constraint of greater than type, greater than and equal to type, right? So a brief introduction so that we are able to reconnect the last video lecture. Uh, this problem related to bigam last time we have seen, and these are the how we can solve a problem with the help of bigam method. Just I have recap. If the constraint of greater than type, we can see the constraint is the greater than type. In this problem we can easily observe constraint are of greater than type. If any of the constraint is greater than type, it means the problem may be solved, the problem will solve with the help of bigam method. In bigam method, generally we use very big M, and we use artificial variables, right? And these artificial variable does not contribute in the objective function. The mainly purpose to introduce these artificial variables so that we are able to find out the initial basic feasible solution. So the problem belongs to the maximization, and this is the constraint number 1, and this is the constraint number 2, constraint number 3. This way we can solve this problem, right? So we can easily solve. These are the less than constraint. If I converting, then there is a minus s1 surplus variable, and to find out the initial basic feasible solution I have to introduce a artificial variable. Only the purpose of the artificial variable so that we are able to find out the initial basic feasible solution. The basic criteria to solve any problem with the help of simplex method, firstly we have to find out the initial basic feasible solution. Once we get the initial basic feasible solution, then we can proceed further iteration to get the improvement values. So I have already discussed all these things, how we can convert constraint into the equation, and how we can get the number of variables, number of equations, and how we can get the initial basic feasible solution. So many times in the previous video I have discussed, so I am not going to discuss, just recap so that we are able to connect to the class. And these are some important things regarding this bigam method. For the purpose of getting basic solution, we have added one more variable into the problem, which is known as artificial variable, and these artificial variable are not the part of the problem. Generally, the main purpose of these artificial variables so that we are able to find out the initial basic feasible solutions. The only significance of these artificial variables. And for maximization problem, we give a very small contribution to the objective function. Just like whenever we write the objective function with the artificial variable, we write with minus m. If m tends to very large value, so minus m tends to very small value. So whenever we are writing objective related to the artificial variable, the contribution in the we are not considering the contribution in the objective function. That's why it is written by minus m if the problem belongs to the maximization in the objective function. So this is the problem we have discussed already, and today, and these are some general basic observations. These are some general basic observations we have to understand whenever we are solving a problem, any LPP, by using the simplex algorithm. So if we have these observation in the mind, so it is very convenient to us to solve any problem correctly. So always whenever solving the LPP by using the simplex method, these observation keep in mind, so that these observation always realize you are solving problem in a correct manner, and you are proceeding in a correct way. So what are these observation? Always think, whenever in each and every iteration, the value of Cj minus Zj for the basic variable is always 0. The meaning of that means, the meaning of this point is the all Cj minus Zj for the basic variable is always 0. Means whatever the you are getting initial basic feasible solution, then you are proceeding further iterations. In each and every iteration, you can observe these things. Just like this in the last problem I'm showing. Suppose this is the second iteration, and these are the basic variables. In this iteration, these are the basic variable, and other than these variables are called non-basic variables, right? So the meaning of that point is we can always check whatever at we are any iterations, either it is first iteration, second, third, fourth, we can check at each iteration, right? So these are the basic variable, means x1, s2 and s3 are the basic variable. Other than these variables used in the problem are non-basic variables, right? So the value of Cj minus Zj for non-basic variables, for basic variable is always 0, means you can check here, x1 is 0 here, s2 is 0 here and s3 is 0 here, means in Cj minus Zj row the basic variable values is always 0. You can check it in each iterations. Just like here, you can also check whatever it is that iteration showing the solution optimal value. You can also check there. Just like in this. Now the basic variable is, these are the basic variables. So the Cj minus Zj table, we can see x1 is 0, x1 is 0, s1 must be 0, s1 must be 0, s3 must be 0, s3 must be 0. At any iteration, we can check it. At any iteration, either it is the solution iteration or the basic iteration. Suppose this is the first iteration, we can also check a1 is 0, here is the a1 is 0 in Cj minus Z0, s2 is 0, s2 is 0, s3 is 0, s3 is 0, right? Whatever it is, initial basic feasible solution, first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, or it is also the solution of the problem, right? So always Cj minus Zj row indicates the value of basic variable is 0. If it is not, if you are solving problem and you are not getting value 0, it means you have done some wrong calculations, means there is something wrong in the problem. Then you can, if you keep these things in the mind, then always you will solve correctly. Another observation you have to keep in mind so that you always solve problem correctly. If Cj minus Zj for the non-basic variable become negative, the algorithm will terminate. Means the termination criteria. Generally, the termination criteria in optimization problem, if you are solving any LPP by using the simplex method, all non-basic variables must be negative. Then the problem has unique optimal solution. If it is happening, all basic variables are 0 in Cj minus Z0 and non-basic variables are negatives if the problem belongs to the maximization. This condition I am telling generally about the maximization problem. If the problem belongs to the minimization, just reverse these, vice versa. Right? These are the conditions for the maximization problem. If we are solving for the minimization, just we have to vice versa. Right? So, a problem has a unique optimal solution we can identify in the simplex method if in the termination criteria all basic variable is 0 and non-basic are negatives. Third point is indicating if the Cj minus Zj for at least one of the non-basic variable is positive, then that variable with maximum positive value will enter, then iterate further for the better solutions. Every times in the every iteration we find the Cj minus Zj maximum most positive value if the problem belongs to the maximization, so that we are able to choose that is the entering variable, then we are selecting the leaving variable. On that basis we have to done the next iterations. So this way we can proceed to solve any optimization problem. Another point we can see if Cj minus Zj for at least one of the non-basic variable is 0. Keep in mind, this point is very important. If the Cj minus Zj for at least one of the non-basic variable is 0, then it is the case of multiple optimal solution. Means, what is the meaning of that point? The meaning of that point I will show you in the next slides. I will discuss the multiple optimal problem. I have already discussed the unique optimal solution problem, right? Whatever the problem till now I have solved, all belongs to the unique optimal solution. Either it is solved with the help of simple simplex or bigger method, right? So in this class, we will discuss how we will identify a multiple optimal problem in the simplex method. Just like in graphical method, we have seen unique optimal solution, multiple optimal solution, unboundness and no feasible solution. Same way we have to identify all the aspect of the LPP problem in simplex method. So how we can identify, I will discuss in today's class. So If sometimes what happens, there is a tie. There is a tie in the choice of entering variable exists when more than one variable has the same largest positive value. So if there is a tie, there is no tie breaking rule. We have to choose arbitrary value. Any of the value can enter because both are the maximum positive value. If any of the value is entering, so there may be a possibility the number of iteration is increases because that is totally hit and trial based. If there is a choice between decision variable and surplus and select variable, then always go for the decision variables mainly. So whatever, if there is a tie between the decision variables and selects, so choose decision variable to enter into the basic variable tables. Otherwise, there is no tie breaking rule. There is no hard and fast rule. You have to choose this way. You can choose any of them, right? And that is totally hidden. You can say that if you are choosing a wrong value, there may be a possibility the number of iteration is increases. So it is absolutely not necessary that once a variable leaves the basic, it cannot re-enter. Another important observation in the simplex method. If one variable leaves the basic variable table, so that is not guaranteed will not return to it. That happened only in the case of artificial variables. Once the artificial variable leaves the basic variable tables, that will never re-enter. But any other variable, either it is select or decision variable, it can re-enter so many times, right? So that depends upon the problem. And the only uniqueness in every iteration should have a different combination of basic variables. The possibility, if the z is also remains same, if the value of the objective function is same, but in every iteration we will get the different combination of decision variables. That generally happen in the case of multiple optimal solution problem. If you get a negative value or zero value in the key column, do not compute the theta. I have already mentioned, if we are selecting key column, if element of any key column is either negative or zero, then no need to calculate for the theta. No need to calculate value of theta for that particular element, because theta cannot be negative or infinite. Generally, the negative theta indicates you can increase the value up to any limit. You can increase up to the value infinite if you are without any disturbance in the that will also satisfy all the constraint. If you are increasing value up to the infinite, it will always satisfy all the constraint. So that can't be the solution of the problem. So that's why generally this case occur in the case of you can say the unboundedness. Any value can be entered. Any value you can increase up to any infinite value. If you are increasing an infinite value, the objective function become infinite. So that is the case of unboundedness generally taking place. So if all the values of column negative or zero, then it is the case of unbound solutions. So that's why never write value, never write theta for any key column element if value is negative or zero. So these are some observations you have to keep in mind. Some another observations are, for a simplex table, it is always represents in fractional. No need to write in decimals. Most of the students during the exam time write in the terms of decimal. For a simplex table, it is customary not to be represent any of these number in decimal, but represent in the form of fraction, right? And introduce the artificial variable when problem does not have the initial basic feasible solution. If the constraint of greater than type and we are able to find out the initial basic solution without introducing the artificial variable, then we can also solve it. It is not compulsory every time you have to add the artificial variables. So there are so many problems in which you will identify that there is no requirement of artificial variables. That can be solved without introducing artificial variables. If required, then add, otherwise no need to add the artificial variable. Right? So there are situations where do you not really have to introduce an artificial variable. We do not have introduce it for the sake of introducing it. Improvement is z is always product of cj minus zj and theta value. that always you can observe in the each iteration. So now I am interested to solve a problem of minima types. Till now we have solved so many problems belongs to the maximization. If the problem belongs to the minimization, how we can solve it? Right? It can be solved with the help of simple simplex and also the big M method that depend upon the problem. Right now you can see this problem. In this problem you can easily observe the objective function of minimization type. If the objective function of minimization type and the constraint of greater than type. Generally for the minimization problem, generally it is observed that if the problem belongs to the minimization, the constraint generally are of greater than and equal to type. But constraint may be anything, it may be of less than type. Generally, I am not saying that every time, generally, if the problem belongs to the maximization, the constraint of less than and equal to type. Generally, mostly it has been seen, right? And suppose the problem belongs to the minimization and we want to solve this problem by using the big M method, because here the constraint of greater than type, if the constraint of greater than type, there is a possibility the artificial variable is required to find out the initial basic feasible solution. So there are two ways by which we can solve this problem. There are two ways. Number one, we have a lot of practice of maximization problem. So we are always interested to solve maximization way. We are not interested to solve this problem by minimization way. So we can easily convert into the maximization type. Any minimization can be converted into the maximization type problem. Right? How we can convert? Just the minimization become maximization if just multiply by negative sign with objective function. Just need to introduce negative sign with the objective function, the minimization problem become maximization. The only difference is that, and other steps of the simple, either it is of simple simplex or big M method, you have to follow the same step. Second way, how can you solve it minimization problem? Second way is that you can solve just like a minimization problem. The only difference is that whenever you are choosing the key column, means the entering variable decided on the basis of key column. How we decide the key column in each iteration? On the basis of most positive value in the Cj minus Zj row. That is for the maximization problem. If the problem belongs to the minimization, then look for the least value of Cj minus Zj. That will be the key column. How will you select the key column? Any value which is the least one in the row of Cj minus Zj, that will decide the key column. The only difference. In theta there is no difference. Theta is always for minimum. In theta case, we have to always choose, means we have to decide the key row that is on the base of theta, and theta is always minimum. Either the problem belongs to the minimization or maximization. So there are two ways by which we can solve, right? Okay. The first way, I am trying to solve this is by converting to the maximization. Before converting the objective function into the maximization, firstly I have to convert these inequalities into the equations. How can I convert? Just 2x1 plus 3x2, and it is the greater than equal to type, then minus s1, and artificial variable a1 is equal to 8. Another 5x1 plus 2x2 minus s2 plus a2 is equal to 12. And the non-negativity restriction become x1, x2, s1, s2, a1, a2 is greater than equal to 0. Right? Now the objective function, if the problem belongs to the minimization, the objective function is 3x1 plus 4x2 plus 0s1 plus 0s2 and plus, because the problem of minimization, so plus ma1 plus ma2. In case of maximization, just we have to take the negative sign, minus ma minus m2. Now the problem of minimization, then we have to take plus sign. And we want to convert this problem into the maximization because we have a practice of solving problem by maximization technique, right? We can also solve with the help of minimization. Thus, we have to change a little bit in the sequence. Just in case of maximization, we choose the most positive value in the Cj minus Z0. In case of minimization, we have to choose the least value. The only difference is that, right? So if you want to solve by second way, means by converting this objective function into the maximization, just you have to introduce negative sign. So the objective function become minus 3x1 minus 4x2 minus 0s1 minus 0s2 minus ma1 minus ma2. So this way we can convert the objective function of minimization into the maximization. Now this problem belongs to the maximization. This problem belongs to the maximization, right? And now the number of variable n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number of equation 2. So n minus m is equal to 4. That is non-basic variable. Means which are the non-basic variable? x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, s1 is equal to 0, s2 is equal to 0, a1 is equal to 8, a2 is equal to 12. That is the initial basic feasible solution. Basic feasible solution. Once we get the basic feasible solution, we can solve the problem by using the Big M method. And I have discussed how we can solve a problem with the help of Big M method. Already you can see in the previous videos, right? So this is the way we can solve any minimization problem by converting into the maximization problem. If you don't want to convert into the maximization and want to solve the problem by using the minimization technique, just you have to make a little bit change. In case of Cj minus Zj, you have to choose the least value. That variable will enter into the basic variable table, means in key column. How you will decide the key column? On the basis of least value in the Cj minus Zj row. The only difference. Correct? So this problem has a solution. We have converted already. That is the initial basic solution we have seen, right? I have already mentioned. And these are the, that is the basic, initial basic feasible solution table. I have write so many times. I have discussed how to write it, right? So I'm not going to discuss again and again. You know everyone. And these are the iterations. After getting the iteration by iteration, we are getting the final solution, and this is the final solution. Here is the solution. x2 is 16 by 11 and x1 is 20 by 11 and z is minus 124 by 11. Because I taken this problem as a maximization type. So if I want to convert the minimization, I have to multiply by the negative sign. So I will get, so the solution is x2 is 16 by 11 and x1 is 20 by 11 and z is equal to, z minimization is equal to 124 by 11. That is the answer of the problem. So this way we can solve any minimization problem. And this is the solution of the problem, right? Once we get the initial basic feasible solution, then we can do the further iteration by applying the matrix operations. I have already discussed how we can apply the matrix operation and how we have to select the key column and key row, right? So many problems I have discussed related to this, so I am not going to discuss in detail. Now the example with equality constraint. Till now we have seen the example related to either the constraint is less than and greater than type, less than and equal to type, or greater than and equal to type. If the constraint of equality to type, then how we can solve a problem? Suppose this problem belongs to the maximization. The main purpose, and we are interested to convert into the equation so that we are able to find out the initial basic feasible solution. Already it is an equation. So suppose this is an equation, okay, I am not introducing any artificial variable in these equations because left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So I am not introducing anything. And this constraint of greater than type, so I can write this equation 5x1 plus 2x2 minus s1 plus a1 is equal to 11, right? And the number of variable x1, x2, s1, a1 is greater than or equal to 0. Now if I am trying to find out the initial basic feasible solution, how can I convert it? Number of variable is 4, number of equation is 2, n minus m is equal to 2. That is the non-basic variable. If I choose x1 is equal to 0 and x2 is equal to 0, what is the value? Minus s1 plus a1 is equal to 11. And in this equation, I am getting nothing. So this way I am unable to find out the initial basic solution if I proceed like this. It means if the constraint of equality type, then we have to introduce a variable, that is artificial variable, that is suppose I am adding a2. If I am adding a2 here and this non-negativity restriction become x1, x2, s1, a1, a2 is greater than 0, number of variable become 5, number of equation is 2, and n minus m is become 3. So how many non-basic variable? 3. If the basic variable is 3, so I can put x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, and s1 is equal to 0. Then I can write a2 is equal to 7 and a1 is equal to 11. That is the initial basic feasible solution. Are you getting my point? The important thing is that if the constraint of equality type, still we have to introduce a artificial variable to find out the initial basic feasible solution. If I write the objective function of this, so z of maximization type 7x1 plus 5x2 plus 0s1 minus ma1 minus ma2. That is the objective function. So are you getting my point? If the constraint of equality type, still we have to introduce the artificial variable. If I am not introducing the artificial variable, I am unable to find out the initial basic feasible solution. And the artificial variable has only the significance in the problem so that we are able to find out the initial basic feasible solution. So sometimes in equality type it is required, sometimes it is not required. So always check for not required. If you are unable to find out the basic solution, then introduce it and you are able to find out the basic feasible solution. If you are able to find out the basic feasible solution, then you can further iterate for the betterment of the problem. Right? So this type of example is related to the equality constraint and I have already discussed these things. Suppose I am taking an example. In this example, there is no requirement of the artificial variable. Just like this, we can understand. Okay. And the problem belongs to the maximization. This problem belongs to the maximization and these are the constraints, right? Suppose it is the equality type constraint. I am not adding any artificial variable. And this is 5x1 plus 2x2 plus x4 and it is the constraint of greater than type, so minus surplus variable is equal to 11. I am also not introducing any artificial variable here. Always try, if the constraint of greater than type, if the constraint of equal to type, if possible, without introducing any artificial variable, you are able to find out the initial basic feasible solution. Go for it. Because by introducing artificial variable, you are just increasing your calculation. In every iteration, you have to fulfill the task. Right? So, suppose now we can understand easily, and the objective function of maximization type, the objective function become plus 0s1. Now the number of variable, how many number of variable? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of variable is 5. Number of equation is 3. N minus m means 5 minus, number of equation is 2. 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. And these 3 are the non-basic variable. Right? And which are the non-basic variable? We are choosing here x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0. By keeping mind in this equation, if I put x1, x2, 0, I am able to get the x3. Right? And another one, if I put s1 is 0 here, s1 is 0, I am getting x4 is here. So by putting x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, s1 is equal to 0, I am getting x3 is equal to 7 and x4 is equal to 11. that is the initial basic feasible solution. Are you getting my point? Without adding artificial variable, we are able to find out the initial basic feasible solution. Any solution that will satisfy all the constant and non-negativity restriction, that is the solution of the problem. That is the feasible solution of the problem. There may be possibility that that solution is not the optimal one, but it is feasible one. And we always start simplex method from feasible solution and moving towards the optimality. In simple simplex and big M method, we start problem with the basic feasible solution and then we move towards the optimal solution. Right? So here there is no requirement. You can check here. If you put x3 is equal to 7 and x4 is 11 and x1, x2, s1 is equal to 0, all constraints are satisfied and as well as non-negativity restriction is satisfied. So we can say this is the basic feasible solution. So always keep in mind, if possible, without introducing any artificial variable, we are able to find out the initial basic feasible solution, then go for it. If not possible, then introduce artificial variable. So every time, the purpose of saying this, the meaning is that every time there is no requirement to add the artificial variables. If required, add. If not required, no need to add it. Because if you are adding another variable, that means you are increasing the complexity of the problem. Because in every iteration, you have to perform the matrix operation. Right? So this way you can solve it. And this is the basic solution I have already discussed. And these are the things I have already conveyed and written in here. You can read out it. Now the termination aspects. Like in graphical method, we have seen the different aspects. The problem may be unique optimal solution problem. The problem may be alternate optimal solution problem. The problem may be unboundness related. The problem may be no solution problem. How we can identify these aspects in the simplex method? In graphical method, we have seen already how we can identify these as aspects. How we will identify these aspects in the simplex method, I will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.